Hi there, welcome to QA Let's Test. This far we have been using Cypress to automate our testing. Now in this video we are going to see how can we automate the automation. Now what do I mean by that? So we are going to use a CI server which is Jenkins to run our test cases, right? So this far what we have been doing is we are creating some kind of scripts in here, all right? And if those are the default scripts which node understand, so we just say npm test, otherwise we say npm run and then give the name of the script, all right? So we have been doing that manually. Now there's a prerequisite before we move on, so make sure that you go and watch part 21 and 22 of this video series, okay? Because in there we are talking about running Cypress from the command line, and we are also talking about how to generate the mocasm report. All right, so great. So let's start. So I have created a new project and I've already exported this to GitHub. All right, so this is the project. I'm also going to post the link of this in the description of this video, right? So in here we are going to see 4 different ways on Jenkins to automate our automation. So you will find the documentation regarding this inside this file. All right, so open that file. Okay, so this is the file, and in here you could see there are 4 different ways I'm going to explain in this video. Okay, all right, so to start with, you have to download Jenkins. All right, so for that you have to go to this particular website. Okay, and from here you have to download this generic Java package. Great. All right, so the next thing is we have to start Jenkins from the terminal of your computer. So for that you have to execute the command java-jar, and then you have to say path to the Jenkins WAR file and then jenkins.jar, for example. So if my Jenkins file is in here, I am going to open the command prompt from here. Okay, and then all I'm going to say is java-jar jenkins.war. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. In my case it is already running, so I don't need to do that. So all right, so this is the terminal which is showing that Jenkins is running. All right, and it is running on localhost 8080. All right, great. So if you are running Jenkins for the first time, you would get an admin password in the console itself. Copy that, open localhost 8080 in browser, all right, and paste the admin password. And also you might be needing to install all the default plugins, and at the end you will be asked to create a user. So follow these steps, okay? And it is going to take some time depending upon your internet speed. All right, so as I said, there are 4 different categories. All right, so first one is run Cypress test present locally and publish mocasm HTML report. Okay, so now the thing is, you can clone this GitHub repository, all right, onto your local system. And to do so, you just have to click on this and download the zip. Then you have to unzip that and paste it at a certain location. Okay. Now the first step is create a freestyle project. So go to Jenkins and let's create a freestyle project. So all right, let us give it a name: Cypress local Jenkins -demo. Select freestyle. Click on OK. Okay. Now there are few things in here that you have to do. All right. So you have to click on advanced. Okay, and you have to use a custom workspace. All right, so in my case this is where this project is deployed locally. All right, so I'm just going to take a path of this. So in my case I've already provided the path in the file itself, so I'm just going to take a copy of that, right, like that. And then I go to this section and I paste in the text in here. Then we have to go to build, click on add build step, and we have to select execute window batch command and add npm test. Okay, so we go to build, okay, and we click on this. In my case I'm running this on Windows, so if you are using Mac or something else, so then you have to use execute shell. Okay, so I just say this. Now what is the command that I'm running right in my terminal? It is this npm test only, right? So I'm just going to take a copy of this. Now you can also do like npx cypress run, but the thing is my project is dependent on so many other dependencies. All right, so therefore in all cases I have to download this first onto my system and I have to execute this command, right? It's a good practice. So if you look at my projects in here, right, I have not exported the node modules. Okay, but what you are going to do is you're going to download that onto your system, like I said, unzip that, and then you are going to run the command npm install. Okay, then you can successfully run all these commands right from here itself. So in here you could see I have the node module, but in here you don't find that node modules. All right, so you have to run the command npm install as well. Okay, so once that is done, we come in here, and now we only need to say npm test. Now we are also going to do one more step, which is to publish our reports. So let us see what are the steps. So now go to post build action, click on add post build actions, and select publish HTML report. Now the thing is, you won't get this plugin by default. All right, so you have to install this plugin. So go to your Jenkins, you go to manage Jenkins, all right, and you have manage plugins. So in here you just search for HTML publish. Okay, since I've already installed that, so I'll find that inside this installed. This is the plugin that is already there. Okay, so once you do that, then you come to post build actions, and you would see publish HTML reports. All right, wait, so now you have to click on this add button. Now when you run this test case, from this terminal itself, right, so we are also generating the mocasm reports, right? Cypress reports and mocasm. This is the folder wherein we are generating that report. All right, so then again I just use this. So I just set the HTML directory to archive to this particular value. I come in here, and the name of the report is report.html. Okay, that is it. You just save it. Okay, and now to execute that, you just have to say build now. All right. Okay, so let us open the console. All right, so as you could see, our scripts are running now in Jenkins. Okay, now it is going to take some time, so let me show you one more thing. So I just open the project again, and let me open this particular link once. All right, so when this execution is finished, right, so HTML report would be generated, and when you click on that HTML report, all right, a new tab would be open, and you would see something like this. But this is not the custom report we are aware of. All right, now what is the problem in here? So I again go back to my documentation, and at the bottom you would find the information regarding this. So CSS is stripped out because of the content security policy in Jenkins. The default rule is set to this. All right, so this rule sets results in the following: so no JavaScript allowed at all, no plugins allowed, and blah blah blah. All right, so to relax this rule, go to manage Jenkins, all right, tools and actions, script console, and you just have to copy this statement. Right, so let us do that. So this is running, and we come here, we go to manage Jenkins, and now you will have the script console. Right, you have to come in here, you have to execute this. Right, so you have to hit run. All right, there are chances that you have to hit that again. You have to keep on hitting it until you see. So let us go to the documentation. So if you see the output as result colon and below result, right, header, then the protection is disabled. Right, rerun your build, and you can see that the new HTML files archived will have the CSS enabled. All right, so if you might be wondering that, okay, I have done the setting, and now I go to my previous build and click on that HTML report, it is still not going to work. So you have to rerun your build. Okay, so let us see where we are. Right, so now you see the test cases are started, and they are started on Electron, because this is the default browser when we run Cypress in the headless mode. Okay, in my case I've already done the settings. All right, so once this is done, I'll show you where those reports are being generated, and how you can view that report. Okay, so one test case is being failed. It is important because we have written the code to also fetch the screenshot of the failed test cases. Right, we have already done that in the more custom report itself, but I just wanted to do the same on Jenkins as well, so that our report that we see on the CI server also contains the screenshot of the failed test cases. Okay, so this is the third spec file. So in total there are three spec files. All right, so our test cases are completed. Right, so one of three failed, and now we are starting with generating the report part. All right, so build is finished, as you could see, and it is a successful build. All right, so then now we have to go back to the project, and in here now we see the HTML report. Let's click on that. All right, so we see it properly. All right, so this one is failed. Let's filter out from here. Okay, let's click on this, and you also see the screenshot of it. All right, great. Okay, let's go back and let us now move on to the second example. Okay, so we have to fetch Cypress project from GitHub directly. All right, we have to run it and publish the mockasm HTML report. All right, go back to dashboard. All right, and we create a new item. Okay, and this time we say this. All right, let's select the freestyle again. Click on OK. Open our documentation. So it says now in general select GitHub project, and this is the link of our GitHub project. All right, so this is the link. All right, so you click on this and just click on this button, you will get the link. All right, so let's come in here. So we say this is our GitHub project and the URL of that is this, right? So now we are going to first download this project onto our local system. All right, so now we click on this custom again. This is something that we did in the last example as well, right? And now let us give it a different path. Okay, so this is where I want this whole Git repo to be downloaded onto my system. And then we have to go to source code management and we have to select Git. Okay, and we have to set the repository URL to this. Okay, fine. So we go to source code management. In here you select Git. Okay, and you pass in this. Since this is a public repository, so you don't need to pass in any credentials. Okay, so we are good in here, and we are also going to work on masters, so that's fine. Okay, then what is the next step now? Okay, so we have to go to build, click on add build step and select execute window batch command. And this time, because we have to also install the dependencies, right? So we are going to make use of this command, right? And I've already explained, what is the purpose of this double ampersand in my Node.js series. Okay, so we now come in here, we add the build step, execute this. Okay, and we do this. All right, great. And same way we have to now do the publish HTML report, uh, the same way we did in the previous example. All right, so let me just copy this from here, paste it in here again, do report.html, right? So and save it. All right, so again this is done. So let's click on build now. So now this time it is going to download all the code from that GitHub repository. We have fetched the Git repo, all right, from this repository. All right, then we executed the command npm install and npm test, all right, and we have started the execution. All right, right. So the test execution has started, as you could see, and again it has picked the default headless browser, which is Electron. Alright, so test execution is completed and now we are starting with generating the HTML report and eventually we'll publish it as well. Alright, so the build is successful. So let us go back to project and let us look at our HTML report. Right, so in this case as well, it is being generated properly and we also have the screenshot. Alright, great. So what is the third way? Run Cypress test present locally and build project with parameters. Okay, what is the need of this parameter? So let's try to understand this. In testing, at times we have to run just the sanity test, other times we have to run regression test and so on. Alright, so we need to control this through Jenkins as well. Alright, so I just pass in a parameter and based on that, at times I'll run sanity, other times I'll run regression and so on. Alright, so let's see that how can we do this. So let us go back to the dashboard and let us now create a new project and let us give it the name this. So let us again select freestyle, click OK. Let us go back to our documentation. So it says in general, click advanced, select this project is parameterized. Okay, so we do that. So we select this first, this project is parameterized and we have to select choice parameter. Okay, and we give the name option. Okay, options basically, and choices are what? So let us go back to our package.json. Okay, and in here we have the choice for test, we have the choice for running our test cases on Chrome and on Firefox. Okay, so now what we can do is let's go back to Jenkins. Okay, in here we have to say test, right? Let me just copy it. I've already done that in here. All right, so you just copy this. Okay, cy Chrome and cy Firefox. So you enter it like this. Okay, Firefox. Okay, make sure that this matches with what you have defined in here. Okay, all right, so what is the next step? So then it says we have to use the custom workspace. Okay, yeah, because we are using the local repository. So let's go back to Jenkins, and now we have to click on this advanced, use custom workspace, and we provide in the path in here. All right, that's good. uh, then again, we have to use the build section. So we go to build section, right? And we just add a step, and again execute Windows, and this time we are going to say npm run, and we are going to use these two percentages, and this options is coming from here. Okay, so whatever name that you're going to give, you're going to use the same in here. Let us do one more thing. So let us also add some description. All right, so I missed that part, so I just copy this. Okay, scroll to this section, and now in here. Okay, so next step is we have to publish the HTML report. So we come to post build actions, and we publish HTML report. We click on add, we provide in the path where the report would be generated, we give the name of the report, and we are good. All right, so let us save this. Okay, now when you click on this build with parameters, let us click on that, and now in here you would see that drop down. Okay, so from here we can pick any option. So let us now run this on Chrome. Okay, so I just hit the build now. All right, so this is the build. So let us open that in the console. So now you see this particular command is being picked. Okay, and which is the same that is being defined in here. All right, great. Now this is going to take some time, so we move on to our next part. All right, so this time we are going to fetch Cypress project from GitHub. All right, and we are going to build the Jenkins pipeline. The thing is, we have been executing our project in isolation this far. All right, the chances are, you're going to merge your code with the development code. All right, and you're going to build a kind of pipeline, and a pipeline could be, for example, you have to understand that way. All right, so let's say a developer has committed a change to the versioning system, for example GitHub. All right, and now what you want to do is the moment, right, a change has been committed from the developers, right, so you want to run your test cases against that immediately, right? So you build some kind of pipeline. So developers commit, right, is going to trigger a call to your test cases. All right, so this is how we build the pipeline. Okay, now, we are also going to publish Mocha some HTML report at the end. That's fine. That's a standard step, right? Anytime you run your test cases, you have to, generate the HTML report as well. All right. So the first step is we have to create a pipeline project. So let us go back to Jenkins. Okay. And we click on this dashboard. Come in here. We create a new item. All right. And we give it a name. Uh, this. Okay. So this is the name we give to it. Right. We select pipeline this time. Click OK, and there's just one step we have to do now, right? So you go to pipeline directly. All right, so you have to, you can write your pipeline script using Groovy. All right, or what you can do is we just save pipeline script from SCM. Okay, and now in SCM you select git. Okay, and then you provide in the repository. So let's go back to our documentation. So we are in here, and we just copy this. Okay, and again, this is a public repo, right? So you don't need to pass in anything in here. All right, again, we are working with masters. That's absolutely fine. Now look at this part, script path. Okay, so in here we are using the Jenkins file. Okay, so let's go back to our project, right? So what we are saying is, in my projects, right, you will find a file with the name Jenkins file. All right, there's no extension to it. All right, it's plain Jenkins file. And in this file, I have designed this pipeline. So agent could be any, and then I have provided in the different stages. All right, now the thing is, since I have provided the GitHub information in here, right? Ideally, I should have not have added this as a stage, right? But the thing is, when you're working with development team and you are joining your work with the development work, and trying to create a pipeline, then probably you still have to provide it, and hence I have kept it in here. All right. So in the pipeline, at least in this case, we are going to see a duplicate case, but you know the reason, right? Why I have done this. All right. So the stage one is, of course, let's imagine that you are just connecting your work to the development team. So you have to provide in the stage when you're going to download, the your code from the Git repo. All right. So this is how you have to do that. Then the next step is install dependencies. Since this is Windows, so I'm going to use back. Now I'll show you one more thing. If you select the other option, right? So we saw uh, this option in here, right? The other one is pipeline script. When you do that, in here you would find an option, and if you click on that, so then it is going to help you in generating the scripts. Like for example, publish HTML report, right? So you select that from in here, you provide in that path, and this is going to generate the code for you. Okay, you just have to grab this code, and you have to come in here, and like that I have pasted in here. All right, same way for npm install and npm test. So let us see that as well. So we select from here, let's say window. So we have this batch window script. All right. So then you say npm test generate script, and you will get that. Same way for shell, you have to do the same. All right. So in here you would find the option for shell commands as well. So that's how you're going to generate all these things. All right. And yeah, so you will have this at the end. All right. So rather than creating those things in here itself, all right, what I've done is, I said, okay, I'll pass on this Jenkins file. It's that simple. Okay. So you just have added what you have selected, this pipeline script from SCM, selected git provided in this repo. All right. And this will come by default. All right. So just save it. The only thing is, then now in your project you also need to have this file created. Okay. So we is my previous thing completed. Great. uh, so let's move on to the other one then. So we have this now. All right. And we are simply now going to build it, and the build is started. So let us click on console output to see this. Okay. So you could see that is cloning the git from here, right? And we'll do the standard process. Okay. So you could see that pipeline is now active. Okay. And we are now running npm install. Okay. So the code is being downloaded in here. All right. This is the location, and then this command is being executed. And if we just go to project, all right, so you could see in here, this is our pipeline. Okay. And it tells you where we are spending how much of time. So this is going to take some time. Meanwhile, I'll show you the one that I created some time back. All right. So which is this. So if I just open this, okay, so in here you could see that I have ran it for, I guess, 5 times, and these are the different stages in the pipeline. All right. Great. So we waited. Let's see that in the console. All right, so the test case execution is started. So meanwhile, we can go back to our documentation and see if there is something yet to be covered. Mm, I think we have covered everything. So let's summarize whatever we have done in this video. All right, so we said that we use Cypress to automate the testing. All right, that's great. But then we also want to automate the Cypress test execution. Okay. So we have used Jenkins for this, and I've showed you how to create Freestyle project, and I've also showed you how to create the pipeline. All right. So in the first case, when we use the Freestyle, I mentioned, you download the dependency yourself, okay, locally, and then you run the command npm install. All right. So the code is already there in the local system, and then how are you going to use Jenkins to execute that code? All right. So these are all the steps. and eventually we also published the HTML report. All right. Second one was, we fetch the project directly from the GitHub. All right. And then we said, okay, fine, I got to do the same steps. All right. The only thing is, because I'm fetching the project from the GitHub, all right, I need to download all the dependencies myself. All right. So for that, we just wrote one command. All right, rather than doing that manually. So we just added npm install as well. So this is what we added. All right. Great. Third one was, we said, okay, but there are cases that, at times, I want to run my sanity test, other times regression test, and so on. Then how can I control that? Then we created a freestyle project with parameters. Okay. So we provided the parameters, and then we saw a drop down from where we can select, the option of our choice. And the last one was that, of course, we might not be running our test cases in isolation, all right? So these days we work in the CI/CD pipeline, all right? So developers make a change to their code that is committed to the versioning system. The moment that is being done, not all the test cases are being triggered, all right? If the test cases are passed, we deploy it directly to the production system, okay? If test cases are failed, we report back to the developers that, hey, something is being, uh, is broken, and then they start working on it, commit the change again, that triggers the test cases again, and again if it passes, and so on, right? So this is all automated, right? So we have removed the manual involvement in this deployment process, all right? So then we said, okay, then how are we going to fit our automation solution in that pipeline, all right? So for that, I showed you that, we can create the Jenkins file, and in that I have shown in all the different stages, all right, which are relevant to the testing, including the, publishing of HTML report, all right? So you can do that. And then I also showed you that, in case you don't see the mocha some HTML report properly, then you have to make this setting. But this is risky, and when you do that, so you will also I'll show you one more thing. So there's one more screenshot in here: alternative HTML, CSS, issue, PNG. If you open that, right, after making that setting, you will see this kind of warning in Jenkins, all right? So it is asking you to set the resource URL. Okay, so that's another solution. You can go for that. So let us go back and see if, okay, so this is successful now, right? So the pipeline demo is successful. Okay, so we go back to the project, and we see, yes, the pipeline was successful. You click on that HTML report and you see the report as well. All right, great. So yeah, I mean, we have covered quite a lot, so I hope you like this video. Thank you so much.